In just 9 minutes, unlock the rawest truths from Andrew Huberman's powerful talk with David Goggins. Discover how real confidence comes from suffering, why your mind is lying to you, and the brutal power of pain. These 10 takeaways reveal how to build insane mental toughness, master self-discipline, and turn adversity into strength like 99% never will. Takeaway 1. Toughness is built through choosing discomfort. One of the biggest lessons from the podcast is that both mental and physical toughness are not something you are born with. They are things you build. And the way you build them is by voluntarily putting yourself in uncomfortable situations and pushing through them. Choosing hard things like waking up early to train, facing fears, or taking responsibility for your actions gives you the resistance needed to grow stronger. When you choose discomfort over comfort, even when it sucks, you teach yourself to keep going even when it gets hard. David Goggins said, "You have to be willing to suffer and suffer and suffer some more to get to the other side." This kind of repetition is what creates toughness. For example, someone who regularly trains for long-distance running in cold weather will slowly build both physical strength and the mental stamina to overcome internal resistance, while someone who avoids challenge will remain weak when difficulty arrives. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 2. The mind is the real battlefield. What separates the toughest people from everyone else is their ability to win the battle in their mind. Goggins shared that when you are exhausted and feel like quitting, your brain tells you that you are done, but you are really only at 40% of your capacity. Most people are ruled by their emotions. They give up when they are tired or uncomfortable. But if you master your inner dialogue and refuse to believe the lies your mind tells you, you can push way beyond what you think is possible. The trick is to become your own coach, not your own enemy. Talk to yourself like someone you care about, not someone you hate. For example, if you are trying to lose weight and your brain says, "I'm too tired to work out," you can respond with, "I've done harder things before, and I'll feel worse if I quit now." Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 3. Self-discipline starts with brutal honesty. Self-discipline isn't about having a fancy schedule or following a shiny productivity hack. It starts with being brutally honest with yourself about who you are, what your weaknesses are, and what you are avoiding. Goggins described how he looked in the mirror and realized he was lying to himself about his effort, his weight, and his future. He called this the accountability mirror. You have to call yourself out. This hurts, but it is the only way you'll change. Then you build discipline, one small decision at a time. You earn confidence by doing what you said you would do. For example, if someone keeps hitting snooze every morning instead of blaming sleep or work, they should admit they are choosing comfort over commitment and start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier each day. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 4. Pain unlocks personal growth. Most people run away from pain, but Goggins argues that pain is where the real lessons live. Whether it's physical pain during training or emotional pain from failure and rejection, it forces you to grow. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every painful experience is a chance to become tougher, smarter, and more capable. Goggins calls this going into the cookie jar, which is a mental place where you store all the hard things you've overcome so you can draw strength from them later. For example, someone who got rejected from a job they really wanted might feel worthless, but if they reflect on what the experience taught them and keep going, they'll be stronger in their next interview. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 5. Real change comes from owning your story. Goggins grew up in a violent home and struggled with racism, poverty, and learning disabilities. He could have used all that as an excuse, but instead he owned his past and turned it into fuel. The message is clear. No matter how bad your life has been, you have the power to rewrite your story. You can choose to stop being a victim. This doesn't mean pretending the past did not hurt. It means using that pain to push yourself forward. For example, someone who was bullied as a child can let that become a reason to hate the world or choose to use that memory to fuel their mission to become strong and help others. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. Confidence is earned through suffering. Confidence does not come from compliments or motivational quotes. It comes from knowing that you have done hard things. When you suffer through something and come out on the other side, you develop real belief in yourself. This is not fake it till you make it. This is prove it to yourself. Goggins said, "I don't care what you say to me. I know what I've done." That kind of confidence is unshakable because it is built from experience, not opinions. For example, if someone is terrified of public speaking but forces themselves to speak in front of others over and over, they will eventually start to believe they can do it, even if it still scares them. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 7. Motivation is weak without purpose. People always ask how to stay motivated, but motivation is not reliable. It fades. What keeps you going is having a strong reason why. If you do not have a deep purpose behind your actions, you will quit when it gets hard. Goggins talked about how he was not motivated to run ultramarathons. He was driven by a mission to prove to himself that he was not the broken kid he once was. That mission gave him fuel when he had nothing left. For example, a single mother working 2 jobs may not feel motivated every day, but her purpose to give her kids a better life keeps her going through exhaustion and stress. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 8. Science shows the brain rewires under stress. It is not just mental toughness stories. Science backs up that pushing through discomfort changes the brain. Studies on neuroplasticity show that when you train under stress or do hard things, your brain creates new connections. You literally become more resilient. Exposure therapy works the same way. You face small doses of something hard, and over time, your brain learns that it can handle it. Goggins' life is an extreme version of this. He put himself through freezing cold runs, brutal training, and painful memories, and each time he came out stronger. For example, people with anxiety can slowly train their brain to feel safer by doing uncomfortable tasks on purpose, like making phone calls or going out alone. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 9. Winning requires mastering your emotions. You cannot become tough if you are a slave to your emotions. Goggins made it clear that emotional control is one of the most important skills for high performance. He did not say suppress your emotions or pretend they do not exist. He said you have to feel them, acknowledge them, and then choose your actions anyway. It is okay to be scared or angry or tired, but you still have to show up. Most people act on how they feel instead of what they need to do. For example, if you feel nervous before a job interview, instead of letting that emotion stop you, recognize it and walk into that room anyway. That is courage. Now let's move to the last takeaway. Takeaway 10. There is no finish line in growth. Perhaps the most powerful idea from the podcast is that growth never ends. There is no point where you are done getting tougher. Goggins said that when you start to get comfortable, you need to find a new mountain to climb. That does not mean you cannot rest. It means you should not settle. Always have a goal. Always have something that scares you a little. Otherwise, you will shrink. The moment you think you are good enough, you stop growing. For example, a person who gets in shape and runs their first marathon should not stop pushing themselves. They can find a new challenge, like learning a skill or helping someone else train. Here is a brief introduction about David Goggins. David Goggins is a retired Navy SEAL, highly accomplished ultramarathoner, best-selling author, and influential public speaker. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.